Good afternoon or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. It's loving kindness meditation time. Shakapada describes it as a beautiful and important meditation, and it is beautiful, but that beauty can come out of struggle. Um, don't know, it reminds me of the way diamonds are formed or something like that. That our effort that we put into meditation is what produces the wonderful fruits and the mind being more at ease, and apparently even good meditation can eventually lead to you being good looking or improving your looks. So that might sell it for some people. But being at peace and still in the conflicts in your heart does have far-reaching effects. I mean, it's not just that we're still and happy within ourselves, but that we have a very good positive effect on others. So yes, welcome to the. I think of it as a meditation club, and I know there's several people from the York Centre. Some of my friends in Nottingham and Monmouth, as well as people here in Chorley and Blackburn. And it's wonderful to feel that the sense of connection, but obviously, good morning, Chris. It's going to be great to sort of meet people in person as well. So I did make an adventurous trip across to York last Friday, and I met up with Lynn and her sister Joan. So that was really good, and we went across and saw Shakapada in the York Buddhist Centre in the shop. So for me that was wonderful. Seeing people in person and enjoying a little chat and a cup of something. And I'm not sure whether I should be revealing this, but I've been invited to come across to York in January and bring my flute with me. So that'll be a chance for me to blow some cobwebs off. But back to today. Morning, Vinesh. Morning, Jenny. Yes, the loving kindness meditation. And I'm going to revert to sort of focusing a little bit on the first stage. This is, of course, ourselves. And I was very struck by Shakapada yesterday. She pointed out in the third stage of the meditation she was leading, she was allowing more time. And, I've been a bit rigid in keeping to regular slots, but it did strike me, well, you can. Once you've kind of got hold of the basic outline of meditation, you can decide to just stretch or make some adjustment, which if you honestly believe that is appropriate, you might even talk it over with friends. But for example, I think if you're struggling with self view issues or self-love, lack of assertiveness, anything like that, well, it might be you'd benefit from dwelling a bit longer in the first stage. I don't think it's narcissistic or self-indulgent. What we're trying to do is be objective, and be objective about ourselves, our needs, as well as the needs of others. So yes, I'm giving myself permission to to do what's appropriate in the meditation, and that way hopefully we keep it alive and and stay with the vitality and even enjoyment if that's available. So good morning, Sarah, welcome. So yes, when we do start in a minute or so, I'm going to read a short extract from a Sanghaketu poem. Sanghaketu, the founder of our movement, and it's one I've referred to before, but it really is one that I hold dear to my heart. When I lived with two very sort of senior order members, Sona and Ratnaguna, it was someone who pointed out that I needed to learn to do nothing. And I have made attempts at doing nothing, but not always successfully. Like many people, I'm restless. I'm quite greedy for experience, and rather than being really well in touch with my body and how I'm feeling, I'll probably look for distraction. So, I'm no different than a lot of people in that respect. But I think we do, and I'm speaking about myself, I really need to pencil in or make a determined effort to find space, to have time for doing nothing. And if that feels uncomfortable, well, all well and good. And I'm very struck by this poem, which illustrates the time that Sanghaketu spent just sitting in the garden and doing nothing. Doing nothing is really useful, really, well, it's the great work, as Sanghaketu calls it in this poem. And that can be a real step forward for anyone who's prone to sort of doing too much and, not able to enjoy just being at peace. The world carries on, yes, there'll be a few tears when we leave it, but, people will carry on at some point. So, yes, so finding time, for yourself to be still. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to think of anything. You don't have to plan anything. Just be there with your own self. And if possible, your thoughts will be available to you. You'll see them, a bit like clouds going across the sky, especially as you settle and you feel less agitated. It's loving kindness meditation time for yourself. So yes, we can start. I'll read this section. This is from the great work, and as I say, it's really a poem describing Sanghaketu's time sitting in his garden in Kalimpong and just spending day after day doing nothing, just sitting in the garden and allowing his thoughts to arise and then go away. And he called this the great work. So this is a section. It's not the complete poem. This is a section. Day after day, beside my friend the mountain, I sit, and as in dream hear close at hand my neighbours, tall bamboo and bubbling fountain, talking in words that I half understand. Not indolence or ennui, soul destroyers, nor sickness convalescent holds me here, but the great work, which to all mere enjoyers of doing must as idleness appear. Not indolence or ennui, soul destroyers, nor sickness convalescent holds me here, but the great work, which to all mere enjoyers of doing must as idleness appear. So for me, that's a ringing affirmation of the benefits, the permission we need, to spend time doing absolutely nothing, and if possible, allow our awkwardness, our guilt, our feelings of being a bit indulgent, just to let that fall away. It's very interesting that meditation is really helped along by the preparation and the way we lead the meditation. So the before and the after times are really important as well. So very often you might feel that there's not that much time, so you have to sort of squeeze in the meditation a bit. But not arriving early and settling will leave a sort of jarring effect. Any appointment you arrive at, I'm sure, benefits from that few minutes of arriving, feeling more settled, and being able to sort of open up to whatever the activity is, whatever the appointment is. So now we have an appointment with ourselves, a really precious opportunity, a really special time, a unique moment, to be with ourselves. And not only that, but to be nudging or nurturing, finding ways to develop real loving kindness and a deep, deep love. So I wish us well. Usual format, the stages. The first stage, focusing on ourselves. The second stage, a good friend. The third stage, someone we see their face regularly, but we don't know. We don't know them. The fourth stage, someone we're finding difficult. And then finally, we extend the meditation out from those four people to everyone nearby, everyone in our household, everyone in our town, and gradually moving out further and further till we've gone right around the world. So a moment or two to settle. Being in tune with our bodies. Perhaps feeling the sensations of the feet as they're in contact with the floor, the ground. You can feel the stockings that you're wearing, perhaps. Just a bit of awareness applied to the body. Your buttocks are in contact with a chair or a cushion. So spend a moment perhaps just being receptive to how that feels. Being aware of whether the legs are relaxed or whether they're just holding a bit of tension. And then the hands, are they resting in a nice comfortable way? Do they feel a bit moist, warm, clammy? Then moving up the torso, up the body, be aware of the shoulders, the chest, anywhere where there might be a bit of tension. So just doing a bit of a scan. You don't need to dwell too long on any part of the body, but just be aware, just register, yes, there is a bit of tension in the shoulders. And then you can respond, say, relax, everything's okay. That bit of anxiety or butterflies in the stomach, well, just let that relax. Recognize that it's happening and then move on. The back of the neck, again, just let it register that it's there. And perhaps just scan the face. So having prepared, we go into the development of kindness, loving kindness. In this first stage, we're developing kindness towards ourselves. We're using different methods depending on what works for us. It could be as simple as just dropping in a phrase. May things go well for me. May I make the progress I want to do. May I be healthy. May I achieve what I want to in my work. May I be successful. So drop those phrases in, a bit like a pebble going in a pool, and wait a moment or two for any response. You might want to call to mind things people have said about you. Maybe you receive some really good praise and endorsement of your efforts, or someone just said they really like you. You can reconnect with the feelings in your heart, the warmth that you experienced. Maybe you remember a time when you were happy. You were really fit and well, and you had a sense that your life was going in the right direction. How did that feel with the energy flowing? The folk singer Martha Tilston wrote a song after being at Butterfield called Come Alive. This was something she'd been advised to do. So, like Martha, we can decide to come alive. Let our energies flow. Gradually, we remove the stuck emotions. Self-care is a real care. It's not just a wish, a vague, wishy-washy wish. We take steps to care for ourselves. Maybe remind yourself you're a good person. You wouldn't be here doing this practice if you didn't have goodness within you. And we can forgive ourselves for not being perfect. We're a work in progress. We're making an effort. So that's something to rejoice in. So may I be at peace. May my dealings with other people reflect that peace within, that kindness, may it manifest. And just drink in your goodness for a moment. Remember, your friends appreciate you, love you. Your family cares for you. Now, when we come to the good friend, we try to do the same for them. We might see them in our mind's eye, in our imagination. And we see them being well and happy. Perhaps we surprise them with a gift, and we enjoy seeing their sheer joy, the love that they're obviously feeling for us. So we want our friend to be well and happy in their terms. Whether we see them, whether they're with us much of the time, we stay true. We want them to be happy. Want their lives to be going well. Again, in your imagination, you might wish to have a bit of a dialogue with them. Tell them how much you appreciate them, what you do appreciate, what qualities, what you feel grateful for. It's really good to reconnect with the feeling of gratitude anyway, especially towards a friend. We're blessed to have good friends. It's a blessing. Perhaps your friend helped you at a time of need. That can really cement a deep aspect to a friendship. You can vocalize internally that you do care for them. You can tell them in your mind, I love you. I really appreciate you. And if you feel the need, you can apologize to them. Say you're sorry for getting something wrong. Most of us have periods of not feeling quite right. So we can make amends and come back into close, warm friendship. And however you can, communicate the love in whatever ways you can find. We don't need to think of what we might gain from our friend. We can focus on what we can do for them. Go beyond ourselves. A very healthy thing to do. Put yourself in the other person's place. Just keep dropping in some phrase that you feel you connect with. I want our friendship to really deepen. I want to be the one that takes the initiative. And you can imagine your friend being so pleased. Now, moving on, this is the person, we see the face regularly. In different contexts, it might be at a convenience store, or we travel the same bus with them, or it's one of the mothers we meet at the school gate. So we know the face, we see them regularly, but we don't have any strong feelings either way. But now we can make that face more of a human being, if not a friend. We can bring them alive, as it were, by reflecting, well, they're just like me. They're breathing as I am. They have their dreams, ambitions. You might imagine them with their friends and family in a different context, broaden out the picture you have of them. There's much more to them than we've experienced. And as you look with a friendly sort of gaze, you might see they are very human sort of features. Their face might look more of a kind face. You might realize, well, yes, they're prone to laughter. They've got those marks. You can almost delight in that other person, even without knowing much about them. We have this shared humanity. Again, in your imagination, you might find yourself initiating a communication, a conversation. It doesn't have to be deep and meaningful. It could just be something light and an observation on how things are. But it often happens that the other person responds really well. And you can end up feeling like you've found a long lost friend. And if this person that you don't know, this neutral person, if they give you the cold shoulder or they seem a bit withdrawn, well, we can feel some compassion, some concern for them. We don't have to stifle our feelings. We can feel what's appropriate. We can still wish them well. We're wishing them well. It's not about how we get treated or how they respond to us. The focus is on them. So may this person who I'm starting to get to know a bit more, may things go well for them. May they be fit and healthy. Now we come to what you might consider the heart of the meditation practice. This is someone we focus on who you find difficult. They might find you difficult. There might be a long history of very difficult relations. And you might not have previously felt like doing anything about it. But a quick examination of your own heart might reveal, well, you don't want to carry on. You don't want this to be the settled state of affairs. You don't want to be holding that difficult feeling which will poison your own heart. So that might help to to nurture the resolve that you are going to do something about this difficult relationship. And you can wish them well. There's something in that idea that you fake it until you make it. So put the intention there, the desire. You want to be on good terms with that person, even if they don't reciprocate. Get your heart sorted out. And as you reflect on that person, maybe you see more of them, more to them. You might have a mutual friend who really admires them and gets on with them. Your experience might be quite a limited, narrow experience, focused on some difficulty, breakdown in communication, a misunderstanding. I mean, it can even be they've done you a great wrong. But in time, you can really move on those feelings of hurt. No overnight miracles, just nice, steady, persistent work. And we know that if it gets too much, we can come back to ourselves. We have a safety net. If you're in that scenario, struggling to develop any forgiveness or understanding, just come back to yourself. Get yourself back into that positive state. Don't give yourself a hard time. Maintain the self-love. And if you feel able to, well then, engage with that person again. You might reflect, well, they have people who love them. They have parts of their lives that you don't see at all. You don't see the good they do in other contexts. You might be surprised to find that they have different talents and, they have different work they do for charity, or they're very generous, whatever you could imagine finding out about them. And anyway, in your imagination, you might just decide, well, there probably is a lot of good about them. So our narrow experience can be broadened out. And the difficulty can be put in a larger container, a larger setting. Yes, there is a difficulty with this person, but, my life is not just held with that one person. There's lots more going on that's positive, fruitful, enjoyable. So you get a perspective. The danger is we get a bit obsessed with the difficulties. So we stand back, we get more objectivity. We release ourselves from being dragged down into the dark, into the pain. And slowly but surely, we resolve those difficult feelings. And we wish them well. May they be well. We don't want a toxic relationship. So we might be the one who makes the effort. But yeah, let's move on. Let's forgive. Let's move on. Let's delight in what's good. Now, in the final section of the meditation, you usually advise to reconnect with the 4 previous people. That's yourself, the good friend, just to come back to our base, our starting point. The so-called neutral person, the person we don't know yet, and then the person we're having difficulties with. And then from there, we try to extend our loving kindness, or even just the desire for it. So we extend out to our own household. Everyone in the home, may they be well. May they have a good day. Just pause for a moment and rejoice in, what is good about them. They're a living, breathing human being just like you. And gradually moving out into the locality, your neighbourhood. And you can imagine all the activities going on. Everyone in your area getting on with their lives. Even as we sit in relative stillness, there are people driving, doing all these activities, struggling to get the children ready for school. And from a more settled base, we can beam out love and at least the wish that they have a good, fulfilling life. And we gradually move out. We might visit friends. We might decide to cover the country by visiting friends in different parts of the country. And gradually, you're extending the desire, the wish for people to be well, right around the country and even across Europe. You might imagine places that you've visited. You can connect with those places and all the people there in all those different countries, different cultures, going right around the world. Even the countries that are supposed to be our enemies, all those people are all like us, and we wish them all well. Everyone right round the world, all the animals, may everyone be at peace and making progress with a happy life. So I wish you well as you go through your day. Welcome Ratnagita. My eyes have watered a bit. Helen and Lorraine. And yes, hopefully through the day, there's a bit of awareness that we can return to feeling well and the fruits of the meditation. And keep that faith that this does make a difference. This does work. It might work slowly. It might take time. So thank you for being with us. Thank you, Julia. Karen, hope to meet a lot of you York people in January. But go well. And yes, thank you for being part of this wonderful community of meditators. I think it's really a marvelous thing. Bye now. Bye.